We're going to get started here in just a minute. I see some familiar names. That's good. Okay, while people are still joining, I think I'll do a little housekeeping and get us rolling here. Welcome to the ACP National Webinar Series. My name is Robbie LaRocca, ACP National Professional Development Chair and your host for today. And our co-host is Dr. Ed Goldberg, who was just awarded an ACP Lifetime Membership. Congratulations, Ed. Thank you to Cecily. You're welcome. Thank you to Cecily and Monique and Ariel from FPMR. They ensure these events go smoothly. We appreciate that. And thank you to our sponsors, Everbridge, Agility, Illuminar, and Fusion. And excuse me, this session will be recorded and placed on our website for future reference, just so you know. If you have questions, please scroll to the bottom of your screen and use the participant Q&A. And you can put questions in there at any time. If it's appropriate, we'll interrupt and ask your question at that time. If not, we leave about 10 or 15 minutes at the end so that we make sure we get to your questions. And just so you know, the chat has been disabled in the event that we need it for technical issues. So it's my privilege today to introduce Cheyenne Marling. Cheyenne is a global leader with over 20 years of dedicated expertise, specializing in the business continuity profession. She founded BC Management, Inc. in 2000 and recently joined Witt O'Brien in 2022 as Managing Director, Talent Management and Research Analytics. She speaks on business continuity management, career coaching, hiring advice, and program assessments. She is also a member of the Orange County chapter of ACP in Huntington Beach, California, and also has had a long tenure on the ACP National Board. What you may not know is that Cheyenne has been a great champion and friend to ACP for many years. And many of the good things that happen at ACP are due to her investment in and her dedication to our organization. And with that, I will hand it over to Cheyenne.
Thank you so much, Robbie. That was so sweet of you. Welcome everyone today. I'm super excited to talk about today's topic, the 2023 Business Continuity Compensation Assessment, and we are giving you a sneak peek into the data results before the report is even published. So very, very excited to share what we have in front of us with the presentation today. Robbie, that was so sweet of you. That was such a great introduction. I always like to highlight some other things that don't necessarily always go into my bio. So I've been in the business continuity profession now for 25 years. I fell into this industry back in 1998 during the Y2K days. It was my first job out of college. And I started placing all these professionals in with Comdisco to help their clients prepare for Y2K planning. And I loved it. I've always been on the recruiting end. And I just got sucked right in and started my own company, BC Management, in 2000. Now I'm officially part of Witt O'Brien's. So BC Management doesn't technically exist as an organization anymore, but we've kept the social and website pages up and running. I am based in Southern California. But for those who don't know, I'm actually from Wisconsin and moved out here in 1998. But I am a huge Packer fan, Badger fan, my alma mater. I'm also a mom of two, one in college, one about to be a junior in high school. And I love the outdoors and I absolutely love running. So for those who follow me on LinkedIn, I do all the running videos and I really do truly take my phone like this and just hit record and just start talking and try not to get winded while I'm doing it. A little bit about Wood O'Brien's. I just want to quickly just showcase, because a lot of people don't know that Wood O'Brien's has a fantastic consulting team that's within corporate resiliency solutions. So the company is primarily better known for their government contract work in crisis management, but I'm actually within the corporate resilience solutions in the consulting team. I'm not within their internal HR. So I'm within the consulting team, but I'm not a consultant. I'm still operating the way I always have in staffing, direct hire, contract to hire, staff augmentation, contractor on demand for our clients, as well as the data research. So gathering data for over 20 years. That started with a compensation assessment that we'll be highlighting today. And in any case, I want to just quickly show that we do have quite a few other services, the business continuity, crisis management, crisis communications, and what have you. Today's discussion, I want to first and foremost talk about kind of the market update, because the first question I always get is, what is impacting the hiring? Should we be concerned about the potential financial market crisis? How does the market look in the foreseeable future? Then we're going to jump right into the overview of the newest BCM compensation data findings, the 2023 21st edition of this report. And again, before the report is even published. Now, it's impossible to highlight everything in a 60-minute presentation. So please be sure to follow me on LinkedIn so you can be notified once the report is published. For anyone who has already participated in the study, you will automatically get that report. The report is complimentary to everyone across the profession, anyone who wants to request it, but the customized dashboards are exclusive for study participants. Next, I'm going to show a short clip of the customized dashboards. And you know what I just realized, guys? When I did the sharing, I didn't click that little video button or share sound. So what I may need to do is stop sharing and quickly go back. I really apologize, but let me quick do that, because I know it's going to be important and I don't want to have to go back through all the slides. So I apologize, everyone.
No, don't worry about it. Go ahead and do it. Everybody, just so you know, we all learned something new today. If you're going to embed a video in your slide, when you're doing the share part, you very first have to go to the little button that says share. What's it say? Share sound?
Yeah, share sound.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know what? I went back there, it was already clicked. So I was already good. But I didn't know. I wanted to be sure.
Go, girl.
So I want to share a quick video clip on what the dashboards look like. Again, they're exclusive to study participants, while the report is free to everyone. Then we're going to highlight something on really how to use the report. So the biggest question I get is when people get the report, well, what's my earning potential? How do I really use this report? So I want to share a really fascinating kind of spreadsheet on how you can really utilize the data to help do your own benchmarking assessment. And then we'll wrap up with some key takeaways. So first and foremost, the market update on what we're seeing. So the demand for resiliency professionals is really continuing, even despite potential financial concerns across the market space. And I have to tell you, it's truly unmatched to anything I've witnessed in my 25-year tenure of recruiting in this profession. So one might argue that we're presently kind of experiencing a bit of a cooling period in hiring, and that recently we have seen an increase of professionals posting on LinkedIn that they're seeking new opportunities, that they've been downsized. So I don't want to be dismissive of people who have been recently downsized or reorged due to some of the financial situations. I am seeing it more with technology firms, with companies, maybe mortgage companies that are very large conservative organizations who will downsize when there's any talk about a financial downturn. And some other companies that are, quite frankly, are just financially poorly managed. So the numbers definitely tell a different story. So hopefully those who've been recently impacted, I hope this does give you some positive outlook. But let's dig into what we're seeing as far as with the data. So first and foremost, still a very low unemployment rate of 3.4%. Across the US. That was reported in April of 2023 by the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, and that's matching a 50-year low that was seen in 2023. Furthermore, the unemployment rate is being tracked at about 1 to 2% for the resiliency profession, and that's reported off of our BCM compensation study. There is still that increased demand for resiliency professionals, and it's really being driven by the gaps that were discovered during the COVID-19 pandemic, supply chain resiliency challenges, the looming cyber threats, updating archaic systems and applications, and then this whole concept of really looking holistically across the organization with resilience management strategies. So all of that is really driving the demand. 34% indicate from our newest study that they will be adding staff to their program in the next year. And that's up from 14% reported in 2018 and 25% reported in 2021. So it definitely increased due to COVID, and it's still continuing to drive that demand. Now, at the same time, couple that, you think about law of supply and demand, right? There is a shortage of available talent. And what that means is, we historically as a profession we are really bad at attracting new talent. But more importantly, there's been an increase in retirements post-COVID, not necessarily because COVID, but a lot of the people that have been doing this for, quite frankly, most of their career, it's been time for them to retire. But at the same time, we're not bringing in new professionals like we should be. This industry is very well known for not attracting new professionals, quite frankly, because first off, there's limited degree programs as a gateway into this industry. Additionally, the general public really doesn't truly understand what we do. And as new professionals transition in, they could quickly transition out to another security or operations or a cyber career. Additionally, professionals are opting for remote working. So if you think about this, there could be the job opportunities out there, but professionals don't want to move. So if there are 30% that are 100% remote or furthermore hybrid, why would they move for a new job? So before COVID, they would move. Now only 9% are 100% on site. So that's causing some strain in the marketplace because companies, they want you to be hybrid, but they want you to be based in that local geography and come into the office 2 to 3 days a week. So that's creating a shortage of candidates as well. Additionally, there's active job seekers. So the increased demand post-COVID, post-COVID has really prompted people to flirt with the job market. And so many of these individuals have been making job changes. So 51% have been with their current company for less than 3 years. 32% changed jobs in the last year. And 15% of those proactively sought a new job in 2022. And that's up from 9% in 2021. And furthermore, our compensation study indicated that 44% are unlikely to change jobs in 2023 to 2024. So with these numbers and the different unique factors that's really impacting, I really do believe that if there is a potential downfall of the market, our profession is going to be somewhat safeguarded. You will still see people looking for jobs, but that demand is going to kind of balance out a little bit. And it's not going to be anything like we experienced back in 2010, where the market really crashed for our profession. So I think we'll be somewhat protected. Now, I want to get into the compensation key findings. And again, a couple of things to really highlight. We assess so many different factors that impact the earning potential. And you're in for a very special treat today, like I said. So this is before the report's even published. A couple of things I want to highlight before we start digging into the data is that our report, the PDF report, is published only once a year. It's a global report, meaning that all the compensations worldwide are taken and they are converted to US dollar for reporting for consistency purposes. The data charts I'm showcasing today that are also in the report are base compensation only. We highlight benefits and bonus potential at the end of the report. And the study that we do launch accommodates permanently employed and independent consultants. So, but those individuals receive different questions. So there's the report combines both of them, but we have 2 different dashboards for the independent consultants, self-employed, and then the permanent professionals. Now, the majority of the data charts I'm going to showcase today are highlighting the global, so all countries. And just so you know, the professionals from the US, we always get a great response from the US, from the US participants, professionals. So those individuals who are US based who did participate in the study, they will receive a customized dashboard just for US respondents. And there isn't another, they choose the filter if they want the filter by job title or by years of experience. So I'll get into that a little bit later. But our complimentary report will be made available to everyone upon special request. We'll have a download link and everything. And fortunately for you, if you haven't participated yet, there's still time to participate. We purposely now keep the study open through the end of the year, because as more and more people participate, their response auto-populates into the current dashboards that have been developed, making the dashboards better and better for everyone throughout the year. So we're about to highlight a lot of data, so sit back, relax, enjoy. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, feel free to pipe in. I believe Robbie and Ed are monitoring the questions, and I'd rather be interrupted so we can ask the questions while the current slide's in front of you. So first and foremost, I want to just quickly highlight just by country, right? So we received responses from 47 countries. And as I mentioned on the previous slide, all currencies within the report and in this presentation are converted to US dollar for consistency in the data reporting. Majority of the respondents were received from the US, and that was 495, given the count probably a couple days ago. People are responding every day, which is good. Followed by the UK, which was 65 individuals. Canada was 42, and India was 25. So right there, guys, by the numbers, obviously the US, they get their own customized dashboards by job title or by years of experience, because we had 495 people participate. UK, Canada, they're not quite there yet, only 65 and 42. So again, continue to spread the word to make the dashboards better for everyone. 878 professionals participated in our annual study, and about 700 of those completed the response, completed their study. So even if someone didn't complete the study, their response is still put into the data assessment, even though it's not technically a completed response. So moving forward, this is the only data chart I'm going to show for independent consultants, just so you know. We have a lot more included in the general report, but obviously we only have 60 minutes to go through today. And I really want to focus more on the permanent employees. But I do want to quickly put this up, because in the dashboards, if a consultant participates, they get a lot of great data, and we assess not only just their compensation for a year, but also their low and high hourly rates. So the average annual compensation for independent contractors was right over 147,000 US dollars worldwide. Most of those respondents were from the US. And that's a 19% increase from 2022. So good news, they're definitely the demand for independent consultants as well. But what was interesting, female consultants on average out-earned a male's high hourly rate by 20%. So that's an interesting data finding, and it continued throughout the report as well. Average annual base compensation US dollar by year for permanently employees. This is only for US. So I wanted to kind of go back and see what the wage growth has been since 2017. And like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, there's definitely been a spike in demand that has prompted a surge in wage growth prompted by this demand, right? So some professionals who change jobs, even though the increase we were seeing from 140,000 to 154,000 between 2022 and 2023, that's a 10% increase on average. And that is the highest increase in 5 years, increase in well over 5 years, actually, with the exception of the 7% increase between 2019 and 2020. The rest of the years, according to this graph, the wage growth was right around 2 to 5%. So that's a big spike of 10% on average. Now, obviously, as I was speaking to people throughout the year, there were quite a few people that made job changes that got 15, 20% plus increases in their compensation. But on average, just for the US, regardless if you changed your job or not, the average increase was 10%. Now, This is a big, messy graph. I only want to just illustrate it because obviously there's a lot of individuals that participated in the study. This is just a US graph, but this is the distribution of all respondents as of a couple days ago across the US, $54,606 all the way up to $570,000. Now, obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into your earning potential. There's geography, there's total years of work experience, expertise in business continuity planning, if you're certified, if you're degreed, your leadership skills. We're going to dig into that. But I wanted to highlight this data chart because there's a lot of quite a range in compensations within our profession. And I do want to note that that individual that was at 570,000 was a chief officer, I believe a chief risk officer. So we had individuals who responded from entry level all the way up to chiefs of the program. And again, when someone participates in the study, they can choose if they want their dashboard customized from entry level to program manager to VP director, global head, all the way up to the CXO level. So very interesting to see that distribution. And I love doing these graphs. I'm such a data geek. Now, as I mentioned, there's a lot of factors that go into your earning potential. So everything from the total years of work experience. So most people did something else before they got into business continuity planning. We also look at the discipline expertise, not just business continuity, but cyber and risk and crisis management. We're not going to get into all of those data charts today, but it's important to note that those are included in the complimentary report, as well as the customized dashboards. Also looking at job title responsibilities. Now, when someone takes the study, they do answer a very kind of general job title. Do you manage a program and staff? Or do you just manage just a program? Do you manage a regional program outside of the US, maybe the EMEAs or Americas? Do you manage a global program with staff reporting to you? So it's a very general kind of description to try to help us be able to assess, kind of get more of that apples and apples assessment, right? And then we're also looking at obviously degree, certification. So, obviously I didn't include geography in today's presentation, but that's also included in the report, not just by country, but also by looking at some of the cities across the US, the States, provinces in Canada, regions in the UK as well. We also look at gender and ethnicity, which is also included in the complimentary report. Not going to be highlighted today, though. I want to start with this graph because, like I mentioned, a lot of people are doing something else before they get into business continuity planning. So here you see total work experience versus business continuity work experience. And this is for permanent employees only worldwide. So the red line is BCM expertise. The blue line is total years work experience. And here you can see that on average for the profession, people are involved in another line of career 15 years before they get into business continuity planning. And so this is one of the biggest misnomers with hiring managers who are looking to hire a quote unquote entry-level business continuity professional. In many cases, those individuals were doing something else for the last 10, 15 years, and they may be new to business continuity planning, but their compensation's already inflated and above what the hiring manager has benchmarked for to fill the job, because that individual's obviously been doing something else. And even though it's not quote unquote business continuity planning for the last 10 years, they have other skill sets that are very transferable into our profession, such as program management, presentation, also engaging in training across the organization. So it's really important to understand that if you're looking to hire, if you're looking to attract talent external of your organization, to make sure that you're budgeting your compensation, knowing the professionals may have inflated compensations due to previous work experience outside of the BCM space. And also important to note that if you do have an entry-level job, the pool of candidates is going to be much, much smaller because, again, we're not, as a profession, we're not really good at bringing in new talent. Next graph, percent of respondents and average annual base compensation. So I'm going to be mirroring this graph, kind of graph format across most of the presentation today. And I did this on purpose because I want the takeaway for all of you guys when you get the recording, when you get the slide deck, what have you, that you can go through and peruse on your own time, right? But you can see here that there's percent of respondents on the left, the line percent of respondents, and then on the right side is the compensation, again, just base compensation annual. And this is for total work experience. So one thing I just want to call off in this graph is that you can see that 58% of the respondents have about, right here is the core, from between 16 to 35 years experience, right here, 16 to 35. 58% of respondents fall right within that, total years work experience, not business continuity, but total years work experience. Now, if we get in the next one, this is business continuity experience. And you can see here that most of the majority of the professionals are right between that 7 to 20 years experience, right? 7 to 20 years. We always do see a dip to somewhat with towards the end of the career, right? Because there's more of that work-life balance. I always get that question, why did it fall at 40, whatever years of experience towards the right end of the graph? And it's really because those individuals, when I talk to them, they don't want to be taking those calls in the middle of the night, managing a global program. They really want to kind of take a step back and still be involved, but not have that high pressure anxiety type position. And I also want to indicate that the customized compensation dashboards go into a lot more. So this is one discipline that our compensation study assesses, business continuity. We also look at crisis management, IT resiliency, resilience management, emergency management, compliance, cyber resilience, media crisis management, risk management. So this is just one data graph out of many that you get from our compensation, specifically from the dashboard. The report only highlights the top 6 disciplines that the majority of professionals have within this profession. I want to quickly pause there and see if we have any questions. I don't think we do since I haven't been interrupted yet, but just want to be sure. Okay, I think we're good. Next graph, percent of respondents, and again, average annual base compensation, and this is globally again, but obviously in US dollars, for job title. So again, it's really important if you participate in the study and you're US based, you would get this data chart only for US respondents, but this is a global data chart. And again, when someone takes the study, they answer a very general kind of description of what they do, generic job description, meaning that, for example, a VP director right here, that individual manages a program and staff according to our study. Now, the manager, program manager, they manage a program, but they do not manage any staff. So in the report, again, it's complimentary to everyone, there is at the appendix, we'll list the generic job description so you can see and reference that to understand. The other thing I want to point out in this graph is that those individuals who are full-time permanent consultants, maybe with Kyndryl or Ernst & Young or Deloitte & Touche, I included them at the tail end of this graph. So consultant, senior consultant, managing consultant, what have you. So they're also included. This graph also shows that the majority of the respondents were manager, program manager. I think it's about 23% were in that job title. And then we also have obviously regional lead. Most of the regional leads tend to either be in EMEA or Asia Pacific. We don't have as many regional leads that responded from the US, and that does tend to be kind of what we've noticed historically with this compensation study. And then you see another big spike with the VP directors right here as well. It's interesting to note that only 2% of respondents globally, 2% indicated entry-level analyst, and their distribution of compensation was between 46,000 to 93,000. Again, because some of them did something else before they got into business continuity planning, and also the geography, New York, San Francisco, also plays into some of that wage, the differences in wages as well. There were only 1% who noted chief officer with an average compensation of 286,000, but their distribution of compensation was between 190,000 to that 570,000. And then also looking at full-time permanently employed on the far right here of the data chart, only 5% of the respondents indicated that they were full-time consultants, permanently employed, working as third-party consultants, right? But permanently employed with some of those consulting companies. So only about 5% of a makeup of our study. That's why you see kind of that low line at the end, overall 5% of the respondents. Now, next we get into the degree, right? So the percent of respondents and average annual base compensation by degree for permanent employees worldwide. Now, what's interesting here is we see that 83% of respondents have received an advanced degree, bachelor, master's, doctorate, which is actually a slight increase from the year before, which was 79%. So there's more and more professionals that are coming into this industry who've already been working and doing something else, who already have a degree, a master degree, and 71%. So it is important to note because you do see 117,000 for high school diploma. 71 of those professionals with a high school diploma have over 26 years total work experience. And 28% of those were also in an IT-focused career before business continuity planning. So like I said, I've been working in this industry for over 25 years. When I first got into the industry, it was very IT data driven. A lot of those individuals who got into then disaster recovery planning were data center managers. They were involved in systems, what have you, and they transitioned into IT/DR planning, but they never got a college degree because, quite frankly, they really didn't need it. They started working right away and started making great, a great earning, a great lifestyle. So there's really not that need. But now it's definitely shifted where more and more people are getting into business continuity planning who already have a degree. Not included in this presentation today, our report and customized dashboards do look at professionals who have a degree specifically in business continuity planning. So that is included in the report and something you can definitely reference on your own as well. Percent of respondents by certification. Now, again, the report goes into a lot more information, and so do the customized dashboards. So for the purpose of today's presentation, I only highlighted the certifications that were the top certifications according to our study. So you see here that we have the BCI, ISO 22301. We have the different various BCI certifications from CBCI, AMBCI, MBCI. Those are the top ones. I know there's an FBCI, but it didn't receive as high of a response. Then we have the DRI, the ACP, CBCP, MBCP. And then we have all these independent studies that were scored, that received a percent, quite a high response as well. So from CERT, the NIMS. Just a case in point, the compensation report does have an appendix of all the different certifications that were included in the study. So there's quite a few that are not included here, like the CISA, there's some new risk management certifications. They're starting to gain some great traction. Again, not quite the top certifications according to the percent of respondents, but they're definitely making headway, more so than I've ever seen. Now, I want to get into the credentials that are really commanding the top earnings. And we see this year over year, especially after COVID. Companies more than ever before want individuals with real planning experience. If they need to revamp a program, build a program from scratch, they want to make sure that you've been there, done that, you've learned your lessons, you know what to apply in building a program again. If they're a global organization, they're going to want you to have kind of that global expertise. And that doesn't mean running off to Singapore or Malaysia and working there for a year. That means working in those other cultures from the US and working in those multiple time zones. So if it's a global organization, it's a global role, they're going to want you to have that previous experience as well. And then the leadership skills, those soft skills, those are really, really important, more than ever before, because it's being able to understand that situational awareness, that emotional response, the emotional intelligence, the ability to interact across the organization. So those leadership skills and soft skills are more important than ever before. And I know I always talk about it. So anyone who's ever listened to me, I could probably talk about for, all day. So we're not going to get into that in today's presentation. But to start off, percent of respondents and average annual base compensation by program management. So it's not surprising that as a profession, we really are good at program management because we're managing a program. And most people are involved in some aspect of program management before they get into business continuity planning. So again, it's not surprising that the data highlighted that 39% of all professionals, well, actually, excuse me, but 39% of all professionals and 42% of senior professionals, VP or higher, have 16 years expertise in managing a program. I saw edges pop up. Do we have a question?
We do. Thank you. Someone asked, is there anything for a combination of certifications?
We don't highlight in the we don't highlight that in the report. But we do have one data chart that indicates if it's one certification, 2, 3, 4. So we do have a separate data chart that shows the number of certifications, but we don't have a data chart that would say, okay, the most common combinations of certifications would be like a CBCP and MP and a PMP, for example. We don't do that.
Very good. Thank you. And the other question was, what's CBRM, Certified Business Relationship Manager? I answered that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. So I don't want to take too long on this particular graph, but I did want to point out that most of the individuals have a really good firm grasp of program management. And so, like I said, it's not too surprising to see this graph is that we're very experienced in this, which we should be. But now, if we look at individual percent of respondents who have experience managing a program activation. Now here you can see the majority are about 1 to 5 times, right? Most of the individuals who have activated programs or managed the activation of the programs are in leadership roles. So they tend to be more experienced. So 53% of those individuals that are senior leaders have activated a program or crisis or response to a crisis more than 11 times. So most of the senior roles have more experience at doing this, which isn't surprising. This is where the customized dashboard really comes into play. So if you're again in the US and you're a VP director or a global program head, you would get this data chart specifically for your peer group, be it by job title or by years of experience. So again, it's impossible to showcase all the data even in a report, but getting the customized dashboard, you would get this data chart customized to you and understand how your skills compare to your peer group. I see another question, Ed.
Yeah. Does program activation include exercises?
No.
Okay. And there's 2 definitions for CBRM. The more common outside of this arena, Certified Business Relationship Manager or Certified Business Resilience Manager.
Awesome. I'm going to skip to the next graph here. And more importantly, I'm kind of sharing all these different graphs so everyone gets a sense of what the report covers, right? And again, I also like to highlight the fact that, again, the customized dashboards, getting this information customized to you is awesome and really, really key. But again, you can still kind of peruse this on your own and kind of understand where you are from an earning potential. And I'll highlight that later in the presentation as well. But here we have the global experience. And as I mentioned, that doesn't mean you need to run off and work in London or in Asia. It's really being able and comfortable in working in those different cultures, the different time zones, and managing that. So it's important that so the data highlighted that 22% either do not have this level of expertise or it doesn't apply for them. Quite frankly, they may not work. Or so right here, 22% on the far left. Doesn't really apply to them. Now they could be working for a company or just haven't had the opportunity to work for a company that's a global organization. But something really important to note, if you're interviewing or looking to make a move to a global organization, having that background is definitely going to make you more marketable for the position. And the company that's hiring, the hiring manager will specifically target and interview people that have the global experience first over people that do not. So this is something I see time and time again. So if it's something you're looking to break into, definitely highlighting your other levels of expertise will help increase the marketability as well. And I want to go forward here because I want to save some time on the end. This is an interesting one to note. This is a fairly new question. Involvement, executive team board involvement for permanent employees, meaning how involved are you in working with the company board? So I want to just highlight, so no engagement. I provide program updates to the executive team and board as needed or requested. I engage them at least annually via exercises or tests. The executive team board expects quarterly updates. The executive team board expects monthly program updates, and I engage with them regularly via risk, business continuity, resiliency committee. And the last one is I lead a risk, continuity, resilience committee. So driving executive commitment is an imperative for the program's success. And this means the regular engagement, not just the on as needed or when it's requested, which is what 56% of the individuals, according to our study, noted here. Now, that doesn't mean some of those people may not be in senior leadership positions. So again, that's why the customized dashboards really are key to kind of understand what this data chart looks like within your peer group. But 19% of the respondents did indicate that they do lead a risk, business continuity, resilience committee. And I want to quickly highlight, of those 19% that lead a risk committee, 26% were VP directors, 24% were global program heads, 17% were managers, program managers. Additionally, 63% were men, 36% were women. So that's, like I said, the gender assessment also comes into play. A lot of those highlights and insights and kind of commentary are just sprinkled in throughout the report. So when you get the report, read the insights, because it's really interesting to not just look at the data graph, but read the commentary, the insights, the pro tips that we've included throughout the report. So leadership skills are absolutely crucial at every level. You do not need to be a manager of a team to be a leader. So I want to point that out. You can be a leader at any position. And what that means is that you are being a leader from within. You're cheering others on. You're supporting your team. You're thinking outside the box. You're taking on new projects, or etc. Organizations more than ever before want the individuals at every level who are motivated and they want to champion the program forward. So if you're giving presentations, serving in a leadership position within your local ACP, always very important to note, because they see that on the resume. When they see that you're active as a leader within a board, within a committee, they expect and anticipate that you're going to be a leader within their program, that you're going to be a leader within their organization. So being viewed, it not only impacts your earning potential, but it will also open up opportunities for your career growth. And it's important to note again that leadership skills can be developed at any time. You don't need to wait to have 10 plus years experience to become a leader. So presentation experience. Few professionals step outside their comfort zone in giving presentations. And this is really, really critical, because every time I give a presentation, especially in person, I learn something. So our data indicated that 69% of respondents have only presented once or less. 19% have presented 11 times, and on average, they out-earn their peers by 23%. Now, 66% of the respondents have never published. 62% have never served on an industry board. And I kind of skip forward. So just something to take in consideration, that if you have not, that you're looking to kind of grow your career, this is an easy way to really kind of conquer that and step outside of your comfort zone and, quite frankly, give back to your profession, right? Now we're going to get into those customized dashboards, as I mentioned. I have a video. This is my first time doing it, so hopefully it works out well. And here we go. Let's see. Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a moment to highlight our customized dashboards. And this one that you see in front of you is the 2023 BCM Compensation Dashboard. So the data is being extracted from the participation in our 2023 compensation study. We have two studies for compensation, one for permanently employed and one for independent self-employed contractors. So this one's taking from the permanently employed study. And this particular dashboard is focused on vice president director. So when someone takes the study, they can choose to receive a customized dashboard by their job title or by years of business continuity planning expertise. Now you can see this particular dashboard is focused on global participants who noted VP director within the study. And as such, since it is a global dashboard, all the currencies are converted to US dollar for consistency in the reporting. But let me quick page up and showcase. So this is why the participation even from individual countries, is so important because it gives you a better understanding of what the compensation may be. Now, obviously, US, we had 81 people participate that were VP directors, 10 from the UK. So obviously, the more participation makes this dashboard better for everyone. And again, we do have dashboards based on entry-level planners, program managers, global heads, chief risk officers. So since this is a global dashboard, we do have it broken down by not just the US cities, but also by provinces within Canada. You see right here, Ontario, Windsor. And we also have regions for the UK. So again, this is where it makes the data so much better when you get that increased participation. But still, regardless, very just incredible data, because you can see that we do go through by gender, by ethnicity. You can see there's percentage of respondents, and then by compensation, total work years working experience, as we highlighted in the presentation today, years of business continuity planning experience. So we have the percent of respondents, and then the compensation by the different breakout of years of experience. The study also assesses expertise in cloud infrastructure resiliency, crisis incident management, cyber resiliency, experience in emergency management, IT resiliency, DR, pandemic planning, as well as resilience management and supply chain resiliency, and third-party vendor management too. Then obviously you can see that there's no other job titles in here because this dashboard's only focused on vice president director. So for everyone globally, the compensation is 150,563. This data chart doesn't have anything because it's focused on professional services within permanent employment. Level of separation from executive management, the percent of respondents who have degrees. Again, this is only highlighting those people who responded in the study who were VP directors. So this gives you a good sense of how your marketability, if you were a VP director and you received this dashboard, how marketable your skill set is to your peer group. So what percent have a bachelor's or master's? What percent have degree certification? So yes, certified or not certified. How many certifications? And then by all the different certifying bodies. Additionally, we also go into program management skills and leadership skills. So again, great data to not only assess where you are from an earning potential, but more importantly, how do your skill sets compare to your peers within your same group. I'm going to quickly just showcase what this dashboard looks like for only US respondents. So right above, we have program manager. Actually, let me go back here. I think it's this one right here, looking at just US respondents for the VP director level job. So here we go, that same job title, but now it's only focused on US respondents only. So since we got such a great response from those professionals who are US based, we were able to distribute customized dashboards within the US only, and then choose by a peer group an additional filter by job title or by years of experience. So we had 81 professionals respond from the US who were VP directors. So this dashboard only focuses on those professionals. So here again, you can see this is why it's so important to have that great participation, even across the different states. Here, obviously, UK, no response because everyone here is US. We have the distribution of earning base annual base compensation from about 67,000 to 306,000. Again, this dashboard mirrors exactly what you just saw in the global dashboard. But again, this one's only focused on the US respondents. So the compensation's a little bit higher. I think the other one was around 150,000 and this one's 159. So again, I just want to take a moment, just one more dashboard. As I mentioned, the independent, self-employed.
Diane, you flipped yourself to mute somehow.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. First time doing an embedded video, so it went better than it could have, I guess, right? I want to get into how to use the report and data because I get this question all the time. One thing I do want to let you all know is we're reviewing the compensation report. Even using this presentation from today, you can start even benchmarking your compensation, and I'll show you. But definitely don't just zone in on one data chart. Look at all of the data charts and take an average of where you fall within each data chart. And again, for those who did not contribute to the study yet, there's still time. There's a link at the end of this presentation that you can still participate and you can still share with others. So you can get your own customized dashboard once those are released. It should be in just a couple of weeks. My marketing team's working on the final edits of the reports. But like I highlighted in the video, when you look at not only benchmarking your compensation, you can also utilize those dashboards to get an understanding of where your skill sets compare with your peer group, right? And you can utilize this information to help build a roadmap to increase your marketability, understanding the certifications, the management skills, the leadership skills, and build an actionable, smart career goal planning strategy. What I mean by smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So for example, if you want to get a certification, you can look at which certification you want to get and build that roadmap to get certified in the next year. If you want to start giving presentations, make that a goal, submit to one of the conferences, or even present at your local ACP chapter. If you want to get on the board, make that a goal. These are very smart career strategy goals that you can build in the next year. Now, looking at how to really benchmark your earning potential. This is a great kind of thing that you can do on your own time. Even use the presentation from today to some respect as well. But again, the presentation from today highlights global compensations. The report is going to highlight global compensations. If you really want data specifically for the US, getting your customized dashboard will help you get there. But you can do by job title, put in what the average annual base compensation is for a director, level of separation from the executive management, years of business continuity experience. I just kind of sprinkled in different things here and there. Total work experience, degree, if you want to look at a specific certification or two, presentation, leadership skills, real world planning skills. And then I took as an example, I adjusted, this particular person is in Dallas. So when you get your dashboard, it's for the entire US, right? And every data chart is US dollars for the entire US. But you can then take that and adjust it to your local market based on how your local city is in comparison to the US national average. And so I took this from PayScale. It's a website specifically from PayScale. So you can adjust that and then see what your compensation earning potential is. And you can even remove some of these and go, well, maybe program management or maybe presentation experience or whatever it is may not be as pertinent to your job. So you can kind of gain a range by taking things in and out and removing them to get an understanding. Again, this is base compensation, not total earning potential. So again, at the report, you can see if you get your customized dashboard, you can see what the average bonus potential is within your job title as well. Moving forward, I just want to highlight key takeaways. We're going to wrap up and see if there's any last minute questions. But I really hope everyone enjoyed the presentation, even though we had a little bit of a kind of a hiccup with getting that video in there. But most importantly, when you get your report, when you get your dashboard, review the entire dashboard and look at every different data chart to understand your earning potential, kind of go through that practice of the Excel spreadsheet that I demonstrated. And I think I have a question here from Ed quickly before I go on.
We have just one left. Were there any responses from those who had a CBRM?
I'd have to look back and see. I don't even think we included those in the dashboard because there were probably like 50 different certifications that were listed. But I can look and circle back if that person wants to reach out to me personally. And I can look through the data because I have the full data chart dashboard, but I can definitely look and circle back. They can reach out to me. I have my contact information at the end too.
Very good. And there's one person that I'm going to advise them the same thing to reach out to you with a question that they have.
Okay, awesome. Some of the questions are better one-on-one too, especially if they're career focused. The complimentary report, like I mentioned, is filled with a ton of key insights, pro tips. So dig in. Don't just look at the data charts. Look at the insights. Look at the commentary. I love making it interesting and trending and looking at the gender differential, like anything that might be kind of a call out. So look at the entire report and you get it. Those are not included in the dashboard. So the report and the dashboards are awesome together because the report has insights and commentary and pro tips. The dashboard specific to you. So it gives you a chance to look at your peer group. And don't just stop at the compensation assessment. Really use this as a key to kind of build that career map on how you can build those smart career strategy goals for the new year. And this is data that you can't get anywhere else. And we love giving it to the profession, but really take advantage of it. And then use that sample benchmarking methodology that I just highlighted, that kind of Excel spreadsheet. It's really awesome to kind of go through because so many people come to me and ask about compensation earning potential. Granted, there's a few things that do kind of impact it. Supply and demand is a big one, right? So specifically, Charlotte has had a lot of job opportunities there, but the pool has been smaller. So compensations have been skyrocketing in the last 5 years in Charlotte. So there are those kind of little nuances here and there, but generally speaking, you can get a good assessment, especially when you kind of adjust it to your local market. And lastly, share this study. I can't tell you time and time again. I mean, oh my gosh, if we could get enough respondents and just look at, like, for example, Dallas and give Dallas a customized dashboard, like people in Dallas could get a dashboard based on job title or years of experience. I'd love to do that, but the data is just not there to do it. So I think with time, as more and more people learn about this, they will want to kind of share, and it's confidential to respond. But we do need your email address because without an email address, we can't send you the dashboard. So but we don't need your name. But as long as we have your email address, we can send it to you. And I'll wrap it up here and see you with any questions. But thank you for listening in today. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any specific career questions. I know a lot of these questions are better one-on-one. That's totally fine. That's why I included my contact information. And I encourage you, if you do not follow me on LinkedIn, follow me. And I'm definitely more than happy to have one-on-one discussions. And just thank you for listening in. If there's any last minute questions.
No other questions. Everybody, there's quite a few people that'll be reaching out to you, which is great. Lots of interest.
Wonderful. And I love doing this report to you guys. It's always fun and it's always kind of nerve-wracking. You never know what the data is going to show, right? But I knew that the comps were going to increase this year, and it wasn't surprising. But it'll be interesting with, like I said, the market trends. I really think will be good, and our profession is going to be somewhat safeguarded. But definitely reach out to me if you are going through a career search too. I'm here to help.
All right. Thank you, Cheyenne. Thank you so much on behalf of ACP and all of the attendees. For the attendees, thank you. Thank you also for attending. Please remember to fill out the survey at the end of the webinar. Your feedback ensures we're providing topics that are important to you. Thanks for joining us today, and hope to see you on June 8th for the 2023 hurricane season and what to expect. Be safe, everybody.